Welcome everybody to the Future City Toronto Symposium that's being organized by Philip Beesley, Mona Al-Kafif, Rick Andrighetti, as well as the adjunct faculty that are teaching within 3A, so Jonathan, Delnaz, and Rolf. And I want to thank everybody for putting this together. I think it's a great event, especially for the third-year class, dealing with large buildings in a metropolitan area. And the topic of today's conference, I think, is incredibly important, especially in relation to the emerging metropolis and what it means in terms of all of the competing agendas that are part of building the future city. So I'm really excited that we have as many fantastic speakers this morning, and I'm going to turn it over to Philip to introduce the speakers and introduce the symposium. So welcome.
Thanks so much for that welcome, Isla, and for being here. Esteemed guests, thank you so very much for joining us. We will have more visitors this afternoon, and I won't be giving a formal introduction right now, but let me just ask you to rise and wave so that folks can know you're with us. Michael Leckman, I see here, Kim Story in the front row, Stephen Otto here. Are there other guests among us? Sorry, Thomas Pucker from Austria in the corner. Amazing that you're able to join us, Thomas. And other guests will be with us as well. Let me also point to Mona Al-Kafif and Jonathan Tyrrell, the main curators of this event, who've put this together with a tremendous web of gestures. WASA and SWAG, thank you very much for the support, and the Near Living Architecture Group has also made a contribution that we'll put on the core of the lunch, along with all of your contributions as well for potluck. So thank you very much. May I say that this is a day of reflection, a reflection on possibility, and amidst a very long winter when we are carrying, many of us, intense work in the third-year core that is with us. We know just what an incredible load the work is right now. This is a day which is not intended to create a load or work or strain, but rather it can be a kind of day of reflection, of relaxing and watching and thinking, and perhaps projecting forward, looking at the larger edges of what we're doing day to day, looking at the sense of possibility. I do hope that these speakers and the material that we share today will give this sense of a kind of quickening and optimism in the deep winter about this quite remarkably fertile place that we live in, Toronto, the laboratory of a city that Toronto makes. And I hope that term, the sense of the open system and the laboratory and the synthesis of this place, will become clearer as we build the different layers that will be offered to us today. I'm going to offer just a couple of tiny fragments that I hope will set a scene, and these will be rather short. It seems an obligation to read Jane Jacobs in such a gathering, and so I will. So please savor with me her passage on the ballet of the city. Under the seeming, and this is from The Death and Life of Great American Cities by Jane Jacobs. Under the seeming disorder of the old city, whenever the old city is working successfully, is a marvelous order for maintaining the safety of the streets and the freedom of the city. It is a complex order. Its essence is intricacy of sidewalk use, bringing with it a constant succession of eyes. This order is all composed of movement and change. And although it is life, not art, we may fancifully call it the art form of the city and liken it to the dance. Not to a simple-minded precision dance with everyone kicking up at the same time, twirling in unison and bowing off en masse, but rather an intricate ballet in which the individual dancers and ensembles all have distinct parts which miraculously reinforce each other and compose an orderly whole. The ballet of the good city sidewalk never repeats itself from place to place, and in any one place is always replete with new improvisations. The stretch of Hudson Street where I live is each day the scene of an intricate sidewalk ballet, and I make my own first entrance into it a little after 8 when I put out the first garbage can. Surely a prosaic opportunity, but I do enjoy my part. And then I see the man at the delicatessen to pick up salami and a container of milk. Things have settled down for the evening, but the street and its ballet have not come to a stop. I know the deep night ballets, too, from walking and waking. These kind of lovely, intimate thoughts, which then spread out and make a great armature, the place where people gather, is perhaps one of the essential kinds of anatomies that we're pursuing in our work this term. And I do hope that that sensibility of the kind of optimism of people gathering will help support this occasion. Kim, maybe you can just help me play the next. The next is a very brief video clip that was taken yesterday morning, and it will be familiar to some of you from the Arcades project that some of you gave, and I was blessed with being able to go in the Arcade de Panoramique in Montparnasse, in the second circle of Paris, just north of the Louvre. Let's just play this. This is just a little image. In the passages. Do I have a future in filmmaking? Please tell me I do. Yeah, and let's go to the next one. Okay, and again, this sense of extraordinary optimism in individual addresses being able to reach out and fill in the fissures and create this remarkable sense of refuge. There is no sense of this being a past phenomenon that is simply a tourist item and that doesn't apply to our world today. Instead, this is a vital, breathing kind of counterform, played in intimacy, but having a tremendous reach of a great series of fissures that run through multiple blocks. A really tremendously affecting example of an urban fabric that is very different than the broad reaches of University Avenue or of the Grand Parade. The last clip is another sense of possibility, and it was offered to us by the Australian pavilion from the Venice Biennale. They did a fantastic curated exercise in which visionary projects of future cities were explored, and this is a little clip from that called Now and When. So thanks to our Australian friends for that. And I'm going to now introduce Michael Leckman for the first talk.